I'm going to share with you 5 dropshipping niches and product categories that you could absolutely win with in 2026. All right, so let's dive into this. We've talked a lot on this channel about finding the right dropshipping niches, finding the right dropshipping products, and we've got tons of videos of the process that we go through, the steps that we take to verify that a niche is good to run a dropshipping business in, that the products are good products to sell. We've verified niches and helped people start over 1,000 dropshipping businesses. So we've got this down to a pretty good art form. It's fair to say at this point in time, there are plenty of high ticket dropshipping products, product categories, niches out there that you could get started in 2026 that absolutely still work, that are not oversaturated, that are not too competitive, where the profit margins are perfectly fine. But I picked 5 of my top ones. If I was starting a dropshipping business today, these 5 would definitely be at the top of my list and ones that I would absolutely be considering. So if you want to shortcut the research process and just go to 5 ideas that would absolutely work, then go no further than this video. Having said that, a lot of people are under the belief that the biggest thing that you have to do when you're going to start a dropshipping business is find the right products. And if you get that right, you're just going to make money. It's not that simple, right? Finding the right niche, finding the right products to sell is absolutely important. And it's the first big decision and the first big thing you're going to do when you're starting a dropshipping business. And you do have to get it right. But that's not the end of the story. There's still a whole bunch of other stuff that you also have to get right in order to make money from those products. So this is the first step. I'm going to tick off the first step for you here. But if you're thinking that all you've got to do then is chuck those products on a Shopify store, run some crappy Facebook ads, and you're in like Flynn and you're going to make millions of dollars, you're wrong. It's not how it works. It's never how it worked. There's a whole bunch of stuff that comes after this. But this is the first step that you're going to get ticked off today. So I mentioned I'm talking about high ticket dropshipping here on this channel, here on this podcast. This is all we talk about: high ticket dropshipping, other dropshipping crappy products from AliExpress, low ticket products, brandless low ticket products is nonsense. Once again, that's not the way that you're going to win with dropshipping in 2026. TikTok dropshipping, all of this stupid terminology, it's not the way you do it. It's never been a good way to do it. High ticket is the way to go. It's been the way to go for the last 15 or 20 years. So let's get into it. I'm talking about niches here. So when you're going into a high ticket dropshipping business or a dropshipping business, it's best to pick a niche and then sell multiple product categories within that niche. Right? Once again, this gives you the ability to sell to more than once to the same customer. It gives you the ability to increase your average order value. And it gives you basically more shots. So the more shots you take, the more likely you are to hit the target. Whereas what you absolutely shouldn't do is pick just one product and try and dropship just one product. That doesn't make any sense. Once again, the chance that you're going to land on something that works is pure luck, if I'm honest, right? So we're talking about niches, and then within a niche, there are product categories, and within product categories, there are multiple products. So the first niche that I'm going to start with for 2026 is warehousing equipment. Now, this is primarily a business-to-business niche, and we know we love business-to-business dropshipping niches. Right? We've gone on a lot about it here on this channel, on this podcast. They're absolutely fantastic, and right now, I think that's where a lot of the gold is, right? B2B dropshipping. So what do I mean by warehousing equipment? Well, any business that has a warehouse, a factory of some description is going to have a range of equipment within that enables them to store inventory or products, that helps them to process and ship and fulfill orders, products, things like that, helps them move products around or pieces of equipment around their warehouse. And so what we're talking about here are things like pallet racks, cantilever racks, shelving, pallet jacks, stretch wrapping machines, which is one of my favorites, conveyors, which come in various different shapes and sizes, strapping machines, packing tables, workstations, scales, loading ramps, cleaning machines, so floor cleaning machines, and there's a whole range of cleaning products that are commonly used within factories and or warehouses. So all of those product categories, there are products out there and brands and suppliers out there that you can get approved to sell their products. So for this one, I found well over 40 different suppliers, and I'm talking about the US market here, but absolutely any of the 5 niches that I'm going to talk about as we go through this could work in Australia, could work in the United Kingdom, could work in Canada, could work in Western Europe. I found over 40 suppliers in the US for that group of product categories that I just mentioned. There's probably many more than that. And there are less than 15 serious competitors, which is kind of the number that we're looking for on the US market. So absolutely, it's boring as, it's a super boring niche. And the niches that make the most money generally are the most boring. So warehousing equipment, if you're looking for probably one of my favorite ideas right now, that's absolutely it. Niche number 2 is metalworking. So products that people or businesses, and so this is kind of a hybrid niche here. You've got business to business element to it as well as retail customers. So like people who are just at home and they're into metalworking, or they have metalworking products. It's just guys, girls that are just into doing things with their hands. You know what I mean? You have a bit of both here. And so what am I talking about when it comes to metalworking? I'm talking about lathes, milling machines, drill presses, hydraulic presses, sandblasting equipment, polishing machines. There's various different types of welding machines that you can drop ship. So whether that's laser welders or more traditional TIG or MIG type welding machines. Storage solutions. So when you're thinking about the niche and who you're going to sell to, the niche here, and this is a really good example of the way you should go about dropshipping niche selection, is think about the customer and their interest, and then what are all the products. So the customer here is obviously people who are into metalworking, or businesses that do metalworking and produce products primarily or that involve metal. So that's the niche. It's not the products that's the niche, that's the niche. And then you drill down a bit and say, okay, so what are the things that people need to do or need to buy to do that thing? But you don't even just stop there. So the list I just gave you are the products that somebody directly uses. So like the tools, the equipment that somebody directly uses on the metal. But there's also a second level range of products here, right? What are the other products that somebody might have around those products that are indirectly used to help them do the thing that they do? And so this is where it gets even more fun. So it's not just the metalworking machines themselves, but it's like, what else is in that workshop? So it could be somebody who's just working out of a shed or a workshop on their private property, or it could literally be a factory, right? There's going to be other stuff. So you're going to have things like dust extraction systems. You're going to have workbenches. You're going to have other storage solutions. So, shelving, lockers, like there's a whole bunch of shelving, tool chests, right? There's a whole bunch of storage solutions that somebody who's into metalworking, or a business that's into metalworking, would have alongside the actual machines that they use to work the metal, essentially. And so you want to sell all of those products. And once again, for this one, I could find in half an hour upwards of 50 suppliers for those product categories in the United States. So there is, almost limitless products out there that you could go put on a Shopify store, advertise, and make sales. It's heavily branded, which we like. So as in, what that means is there are customers out there who are already searching for these products by brand and by name, which means all you have to do basically with your first stages of advertising is step in front of that demand, and you're going to make sales. Now, one thing about this type of niche, and any niche that has to do with tools and things like that, is you can pull a lot of lower ticket items into that space. So products in the sub $100 category, or $100 to $200, like smaller tools and things like that. I wouldn't really focus there. You would put most of your focus into the higher ticket products, so that's $1,000 plus, and there's no upper limit, rather than spending a lot of time focusing in on getting tons and tons of the lower ticket items. Yes, you absolutely would have some lower ticket items. For example, if you're going to be selling welding machines and things like that, there's going to be PPE equipment, personal protective equipment that you might sell along with that. That would make sense, right? Somebody who's buying their first welding machine might also want to buy some PPE equipment. So that's not going to be particularly high ticket, but you would still have some of that on your website. But I wouldn't go out and go for a lot of like smaller tools that are used individually by themselves, at least not in the beginning. So that's number 2. Number 3 is personal property storage. and storage equipment. So once again, this has been on my niche list personally for years and years. I've never got around to it myself. And I went back to look at it again this year, and it's still not that competitive in my view, if you did it right. So what am I talking about here? I'm talking about products that homeowners, property owners primarily use to help them store their belongings either inside or outside on their property. It wouldn't need to just be a retail niche, so that's the retail side of it. There obviously, of course, could be a business-to-business side to it as well, where you're talking about products that businesses might use to store things within a factory or within some type of business premises. And I guess on that element, there would be a little bit of crossover with the warehousing equipment niche that I mentioned first. So what am I talking about here? What are the products? What are the product categories here for the personal property storage? So the ones I can come up with off the top of my head is outdoor sheds, which come in a range of different sizes, from small garden sheds right up to much larger structures, which come disassembled, flat packed, etc. So the whole range there. Storage trunks, garage cabinetry, and like a full garage worth of cabinetry, $20,000 on the high end. Vehicle storage, shelving, roof storage systems. So there are literally these products that are suspended from a roof that you can raise and lower and put things inside. Tool or equipment storage, workbenches, once again, for somebody who's got a workshop type thing, maybe they're into woodworking, maybe they're into metalworking, maybe they work on cars, maybe they have some other hobby that they do in a shed or storage area that they use to store their tools or their products on top of. Workbenches, there's a whole range of those. And once again, there's some really high-ticket products within those. Once again, the list could go on. So that's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 product categories there. There's probably another 10. And once again, in less than half an hour of looking, I came up with 30 brands that I could pick up the phone and call to get approval to sell their products on my site. So that's upwards of 500 products right there. As I said, I checked the competition on this one. Not too competitive. It's definitely in a sweet spot. And once again, one of the things I like about this is there's a range of products that you could sell to the same person over time, or in the same order, or over time, which is something we definitely look for. And as well, like the metalworking niche, there's going to be a lot of lower ticket products. Like when you talk about storage, the first thing a lot of people will think about is lower ticket products, like, low quality or interior home kind of cabinetry or something like that. That's not what I'm talking about. You want to stay away from that stuff and focus on the larger, more premium side of the market, where most of the products are going to be over $1,000. And like I said, if we talk about sheds and storage or some of the garage cabinetry, you can go past $20,000 and upwards, which is absolutely fine. Dropship Breakthru, we have students that sell individual products for $100,000 plus for individual orders, and you can absolutely do that here. So personal property storage is number 3. Number 4 is one we've actually talked about some time ago on the podcast and on this channel. It's still good. It's still good to go. I've seen 1 or 2 people doing it and doing it well. I think there is plenty of space here for more people to have a crack at this one, and that is sensory products. So this is a bit of a newer niche, but not super new. And so basically what does that mean? What are sensory products? Well, they're essentially products that cater specifically for children and or adults who are living with like autism, ADHD, sensory processing disorder, and a range of other things. And so there's both small and quite large products in this space, and they're used both for people in the home, but also businesses have these. So if you think about childcare centers, schools, sporting facilities, baseball fields, etc., might have a sensory room there. And child's playrooms in shopping centers have sensory products within them. And so it's actually very broad. Those type of conditions are ones that have a lot more recognition now than they used to have many years ago, which is why there's kind of been a bit of an explosion in these type of products, is that they do provide a real benefit for a lot of people and for a lot of businesses, and there's a large range of products. So what are some of the products in this niche? There's bubble walls or bubble tubes, fiber optic sensory lights, fiber optic sensory curtains, soft play furniture. There's different types of tents, canopies or sensory dens, tactile mats, textured play surfaces, sound machines, sensory pods, When you dive into it, just go to Google and search for sensory toys or sensory products. And you're going to see a whole bunch of things that if you've never had any interaction with them before, and like I say, many people nowadays have, but if you haven't, your mind's going to be kind of blown by the large range of products that exist within this niche. And certainly, once again, when you're getting into selling, particularly to other businesses or institutions or educational organizations, the order values here can actually get quite high. So think $40,000, $50,000, $60,000. People are buying of these type of products in one go, or businesses are buying in one go. So there's a wide range of customers here. There's a wide range of products and a growing range of products. That's the great thing about this niche, I think, is that it's one that's definitely growing in demand. And definitely growing in terms of the number of brands and products that are coming to the market at the moment. And the customer base is growing. And it's both retail and B2B. So there's both elements, which once again is something I definitely love to look for in a niche. If I can sell to retail customers as well as business customers, that's a great thing. I think that's one of the indicators of a really strong dropshipping niche. And there's plenty of repeat business opportunities here. I love this one. The competition, this is probably the lowest competition one on my list for sure. There's plenty of space here. Like I say, it's a very, very much a growing market. And so if you want to crack into something like a little bit different, a little bit fun as well. I mean, we're talking about products that people use for enjoyment and they interact with them. I think both children and adults, like I said, that's definitely something that appeals to some people. And so I think if you're looking for something a little bit different to the other niches on this list, this could be the one for you. So that's number 4. Number 5 of my top high-ticket dropshipping niches for 2026, at the start of 2026 here, is farming and agriculture. Most countries have a lot of farms and agriculture. It's where we get our food. It's where we get meat, all sorts of products that we consume. It's something that isn't going away. People need it, and there are a large range of high-ticket products that are used by farmers or other businesses that interact with the agricultural space. So once again, there's a large range of product categories within this niche. Obviously, your ideal customers, farm owners, organizations that own farms, even smaller kind of homesteady type properties or hobby farms would kind of fall into this, but I'm thinking more at a slightly larger scale than that, but you definitely would have some crossover there. So what products are we talking about here? Tractor and skid steer attachments. I actually already do sell those on one of our businesses, but you've got a lot more. You've got things like power equipment like log splitters, you've got sprayers, there's water pumping and irrigation products. There's a whole range of kind of smaller but very expensive sensor type products. We've talked about the sensor niche on this channel before. So things like weather measurement and tracking products, lightning detectors for as an example of one of those sensors. You've got things like soil moisture sensors, and there's a whole range more in that space. Once again, the primary customer for those type of things is the agricultural industry. So that could be part of your site. But then you've also got products that are used for animals. So if it's things like cattle crushers, milking machines, there's a whole range of products there as well. So this site could be an absolute monster. You wouldn't need to start with all of that. You would certainly, I think, find a section of that, start there and expand over time. But literally, once again, well over 100 suppliers for this niche on the US market, and nowhere near enough competition, right? Nowhere near a level of competition that would bother me, simply because it's such a big industry. There are so many different product categories here that you could include, and no one business can dominate that whole thing. I mean, you never see any niche where one business gets all the sales. Everybody worries about with dropshipping. Is dropshipping oversaturated in 2026? You know, isn't it too oversaturated now? That's not how it works. Like, competition just doesn't go like this every year, like on some linear fashion. That's not how markets work. And so there's nothing to worry about here from that perspective. Plenty of products, plenty of suppliers, not too much competition. This is a good one. High average order values, high product prices. You probably have an average product price of $2,000 to $3,000 in here, maybe higher, which is fantastic. That's my kind of sweet spot. If I see an average order value around $3,000 or more, I'm feeling pretty good. And repeat business, once again, something I absolutely look for. Can you sell to the same customer again and again and again? Can you sell multiple products in the same order? Once again, absolutely something I look for. This is a boring niche, and that's no offense to farmers or agriculture and farming, but in terms of the products, we're not talking about sexy, trendy products here, right? These are just products that people have been using for literally decades, and that's exactly what you should be looking for, right? We're not looking for the next trendy new product. They're almost always terrible for dropshipping because they're unpredictable. Sometimes they sell for a little while and then completely disappear. You don't want that. You want to sell products from brands that have existed for decades. You want to sell products that people have been buying for decades. Do you know why? Because there's a high probability people are still going to want to buy them tomorrow and the next year and the next year, right? People are not going to stop farming. Maybe at some point, farming will move from people primarily doing it to robots doing it or some variation of that. Fine. Who's going to sell the robots? Businesses are going to sell the robots, right? So the niche is not going anywhere, and that's what you want to look for, right? If you're starting a dropshipping business to run it for 3 months, your head's in the wrong place. That mindset just doesn't work, right? You're building a business to sell stuff for multiple years, or you should be. So there are 5 niches that you could pick any one of those 5 niches, and if you put in the work, you put in the time, you demonstrate the consistency in 2026, you can absolutely get up and running in the next 30 days, start making sales, and have a great year, start a life-changing e-commerce business. Now, that's just 5, right? I could literally go and find another 30 of these type of niches easily that could work in 2026. So if you want to get our exact plan for how we find these niches, how we vet them, and how we use AI to help us do that, then head to dropshipbreakthru.com/passion, where we've got a really short course. It's just $27. It's basically like a workshop that will show you exactly how, you'll watch over my shoulder as I do it, exactly how I came up with those 5 niche ideas and how you can use exactly the same process, which you can do in an afternoon, to find 20, 30 more ideas to choose from.